Welcome to another episode of the Policy Center Live. I'm Tanya Gray, Communications Specialist for the Socially Disadvantaged Farmers and Ranchers Policy Research Center located at Alcorn State University. Today's topic is navigating the 22007APPY.GOV website, also known as the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program. So if you will type in 22007APPY.GOV in your browser, you will see on this very first page that the application deadline has been extended to January 13th, 2024. The original deadline was October 31st, 2023. And so it's been extended to January 13th. And here it will show you where you can set up your online application. This is the 1-800 number that you can call if you need to ask questions, as well as to email them. And we're going to go over all this. We will not go over how to actually complete the application, as there are cooperators and your local offices and so many people that are available to help walk you through that process. But we are going to go over each tab so that you understand how to navigate the website. First, I want to go to the News and Information tab. And this is where you will find press releases, your outreach toolkit, the DFAP weekly newsletter. I want to click first on this press release that speaks about the financial assistance program being extended. It says the U.S. Department of Agriculture is extending the deadline for the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program to January 13, 2024 to give eligible farmers, ranchers, and forest landowners more time to apply for assistance. The original deadline was October 31st, 2023. So what exactly is the DFAP, or the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program, or it's also called the program? This program delivers on Section 22007 of the Inflation Reduction Act, which provides financial assistance for farmers, ranchers, and forest landowners who experience discrimination in USDA farm lending programs prior to January 2021. Congress provided a total of $2.2 billion for this program. The amount of money awarded to individuals through this program will depend on the number of eligible applicants and the consequences of the discrimination. Eligible individuals have the option to apply online or by submitting paper-based forms via mail or in-person delivery to local program offices. Now, I will show you how to navigate to each one of those so that you can see where you can complete your application online. I will provide the local offices of where you can drop your application and or mail your application in, or the local office to just, again, drop it off so that you can get it in by paper if that's how you choose to submit it. Applicants are not required to retain an attorney and should take precautions to protect themselves from potential scams. Now, we will also go over all of that so that you can find the important information that you need if you have been taken advantage of by someone who charged you a fee for the application. The application process and completing your application is free. So this paragraph speaks about the important information or numbers that you need. So to learn more about the DFAP or receive assistance in English or Spanish, visit 22007apply.gov or email info@22007apply.gov, or you can contact the National Center by phone, 1-800-721-0970 from 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day except for federal holidays. If you use sign language to communicate, you can use the 711 relay service to call. You may also email or contact the National Call Center if you have a disability and need another accommodation. Information about the program, resources, recent office openings, and local events across the country is also available through a weekly newsletter. So we're going to go back to the main page, and we are back on the news and information page. This has the outreach toolkit. Here you can find all the social media handles. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. If you click on those, it will take you to each of those respective pages. And then there's the DFAP weekly newsletter. Okay, so here is where you can subscribe to the DFAP weekly newsletter. I have subscribed, so I would heavily encourage everyone who is a farmer, rancher, or a forest land owner to subscribe to the weekly newsletter. And we're just going to click on the latest one here, which was from October 6th. And here they'll have just, pertinent information that is helpful in guiding you on your journey. But I wanted to scroll down because on the newsletter, it also helps you to find your local event. And this is so important for whatever state you are in. And the local events are being organized to help provide, services to people who are not near a local office. At these local offices, they can assist you with completing and filing your application through e-file, which is online, or on a paper copy. They help you to check the status of your application, and they provide interpretation and translation services. When you arrive, please look for the DFAP signage. If there are no events listed in your state, please check back as the local events schedule will be updated. But if you have specific questions, you also can call their 1-800 number here, which is 1-800-721-0970 for more information. Now, I wanted to show you because I am in Mississippi, and I want to click on Mississippi so that you can see the upcoming events that are scheduled by the regional administrator. And we will talk about who the regional administrator is, who the national administrator is, and what their role is. And so October 14th has already passed, but the next upcoming event is October 21st. And the name of the event is the Tri-County Farmers Market, which I'm also thinking is the actual location of where the event is taking place. And this is going to be in Okolona, Mississippi from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you're in Okolona or somewhere near Okolona, this is a perfect opportunity for you to come in person so that the regional administrator can explain to you how to complete this 40-page application, where you can drop that application off, where you can mail that application to, and how you can complete that application online. The next event is going to be in Pearl, Mississippi, and that's going to be the National Black Farmers Association, and that'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then they are going to round it out in Natchez on October 27th and October 28th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that's going to be the 33rd Annual National Black Farmers Conference. That's going to be held at Hotel View, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this is a perfect opportunity again for you to come out in person so that you can get someone to explain to you exactly how to complete that 40-page application. And we're going to go over that again, but I want to go back to the main page, and we're going to scroll back up here and go to our first tab, which is the program overview. And again, it takes you to the front page that shows you that the application deadline has been extended. Here you can log in if you are completing your application online or have someone to show you how to complete your application online. And there's your 1-800 number and the email address where it will take you directly to that email. Over here on the program overview, we have about the application. We have the program administrator, the national administrator, the regional hubs, and the community groups. This is where I definitely want you to know who your community groups are so that they can assist you in completing the application. But first, we're going to go to about the application here. Applying for this program is free, and free help with the application is available. You can visit How Do I Apply, which is one of the tabs at the top, and we'll go over that in a moment. You do not need an attorney to file an application. However, if you feel the need for legal assistance, seek the assistance of a trusted licensed attorney. The application includes step-by-step directions and a list of documents that are either required or recommended at each step. This chart provides an overview of how applications are processed and reviewed once received by the program administrator. So we're going to click on the chart just so that you can kind of see the flow of the chart. So the applicant is going to submit the application online, by mail, or in person. It's going to go to the regional hub or the national administrator, who's going to log and acknowledge the application. Then the regional hub is going to determine the eligibility. Did the applicant farm or ranch or try to farm or ranch? And it's going to ask you a series of questions. And based on yes or no, you just follow the flow of the flow chart. It's going to go directly to the national administrator, who is going to have the final say in what happens to the application and how it's processed. And then the national administrator is going to resolve the differences between the regional and national review with deference to regional review. And if it's approved, they refer all eligible applicants to USDA for approval of payment. If there's oversight, they refer a large difference in eligibility determination to USDA for oversight. And then it goes to USDA, who resolves the differences and approves the payments, and the national administrator will make the payments. I would ask you to ask questions about that process as well, so that you have a clear understanding of how that goes. But we're going to go to the program administrator and what they actually do. It says several entities are involved in the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program with varying roles and responsibilities. The national administrator and regional hubs are under contract to conduct outreach, assist with the financial assistance application process the applications, manage program call centers, and operate local offices. Additional outreach and application support is provided by community groups, which we'll look at here in a minute. And then you have your national administrators, which is the Midtown group. The national administrator oversees the program. That includes setting up and managing the program, developing the program application, coordinating work that is shared between the national administrator and the regional hubs, reviewing the individual applications, making determinations of eligibility, and evaluating the application against USDA approved standards using corroborating data from the USDA where available. They ensure that the agricultural expertise is incorporated into the national review process. They arrange for appropriate audits and systems to detect and deter fraud, make final decisions on individual applications subject to oversight, and they distribute the financial assistance after the approval by USDA, which is that chart that we just looked at. So who are the regional hubs? The regional hubs are Analytic Acquisitions, which is west of the Mississippi, and the Windsor Group, which is east of the Mississippi. When we were looking at those events in Mississippi where it had the regional hub, Mississippi is under the Windsor Group. And again, we will go over the information of how you can contact them, how you can mail your application to the regional group or the regional hub. And we'll talk a little bit about the services that they provide. So they're going to set up and staff local offices and mobile outreach teams. They market the availability of the program to raise awareness and inform potential applicants of services. They provide technical assistance in person, online, and by phone, including region-specific support through the call center. They coordinate with USDA's community group cooperators, which we'll go over here in just a second. They receive the applications by mail and in-person drop-off. They digitize all non-digital applications and supporting documents submitted. If you completed your application by paper copy versus completing it online, they will take those non-digital applications and then get those submitted online for you. They pursue supplementary information from applicants when applicant omissions make payment impossible. Example, insufficient proof of identity or social security number or missing signature. They review individual applications, making initial determinations of eligibility and evaluating the application against USDA approved standards and using corroborating data where available. And they also ensure that agricultural expertise is incorporated in the regional review process. So that is some important information that the national administrators and the regional administrators provide. So who are the community groups or the cooperators? They are designated to provide outreach and technical assistance under cooperative agreements with USDA. This includes sharing information with the members, hosting in-person and virtual events, providing trainings on how to complete applications, assisting producers with completing applications, and coordinating with regional hubs and USDA to offer insight on best practices for reaching key audiences, as well as providing other support and partnership for outreach efforts. You can also contact the USDA for more information if you need that, and you can click on that. It will take you to, we're going to click there, and it takes you to farmers.gov, where you can find out more about the Inflation Reduction Act. So we're going to go back to the main page, and we're going to return to the top, and we're going to click on our next tab here. Am I eligible? And if you'll look over here again, this talks about the eligibility requirements, lending covering, eligibility, types of discrimination covered, how discrimination occurred, loss factors, and your documentation requirements. So eligibility, this page provides information to help you determine if you are eligible for this program. You need to know if you are eligible so that you can apply and to know that you are applying for something that you are eligible for. So the ability to qualify for financial assistance is available for individuals who experienced discrimination prior to January 1st, 2021 by the USDA in its farm lending programs, which are currently administered by the Farm Service Agency, or you are currently debtors with assigned or assumed USDA farm lending debt that was the subject of USDA discrimination that occurred prior to January 1, 2021. This applies, for example, if you inherited the debt that was the subject of USDA farm lending discrimination by USDA. And if you need a further breakdown or explanation for that, I would suggest contacting your cooperators. And again, we're going to go over who those cooperators are so that you can get the necessary information answered to help you on your journey. So what lending is covered by the program? Discrimination experienced in all USDA lending programs qualify for the ability to apply for financial assistance through this program. Eligible farm lending programs include farm ownership loans, farm operating loans, micro loans, youth loans, farm storage loans, emergency loans, and of course you can see that, you know, the acronyms to the side there: emergency loans, economic emergency loans, emergency livestock loans, soil and water loans, conservation loans, softwood timber loans, and grazing loans. So if you experience discrimination under any of these lending programs by the USDA, then you may be eligible for discrimination assistance. It says to note, this program covers both USDA direct and guaranteed lending through USDA's Farm Service Agency or its predecessor, the Farmers Home Administration. But for applicants who participated in guaranteed loan programs, discrimination by the non-USDA lender does not qualify for this program. Only discrimination by USDA personnel in USDA lending is covered. So eligibility. To be eligible to participate in this program, you must be or have been a farmer or would-be farmer, be or have been a participant or would-be participant in farm lending, have experienced discrimination by USDA farm lending, or be a debtor with assigned or assumed USDA farm lending debt that was the subject of U.S. discrimination, be able to verify your identity and provide information to substantiate the discrimination experienced. Note, individuals who have personally prevailed and obtained money or loan forgiveness in a prior case addressing discrimination in USDA farm lending programs are eligible to participate in this program. So what does discrimination look like, and what types of discrimination is covered? This program covers discrimination based on different treatment you experienced because of your race, color, or national origin, ethnicity, including status as a member of an Indian tribe. If you experience discrimination based on sex, sexual orientation or gender identity, religion, age, marital status, disability, reprisal/retaliation for prior civil rights activity. If you experience those types of discrimination, then you may be eligible for the DFAP. How discrimination occurred. If discrimination was the cause, the following are examples of how that discrimination may have been experienced. Please note that this list does not indicate all potential covered discrimination, nor does it limit a potential applicant's ability to apply. So failure to provide appropriate assistance, delay in processing loan or loan servicing application, denial of a loan or loan servicing, prevention from applying for a loan or loan servicing, adverse loan terms, unduly onerous supervision of loan requirements. So if you experienced any of those following, you definitely may be eligible for the DFAP. So what are the loss factors? What are some of the things that contributed to the discrimination? The following are examples of losses the applicant asked about because they may have occurred because of discrimination by USDA and USDA farm lending programs. Please note that this list is not comprehensive, nor does it limit a potential applicant's ability to apply. If you had the loss of agricultural land, the loss of home is used as collateral for a home, loss of money resulting from offsets, garnishments, or deficiency judgments imposed on the individual because of defaulting on a USDA farm loan or USDA foreclosing on a USDA farm loan, other economic loss because of discrimination by USDA and USDA lending programs. So what are some of the documentation requirements? It says the application includes a step-by-step directions and a list of documents that are either required or recommended at each step. Providing documentation or evidence of discrimination will help submitted applicants throughout the process. Do not, and they have this in bold, do not include original supporting documents with your submission. Your documents will not be returned to you and may be destroyed after the program concludes. In accordance with record management requirements, please make and keep all original copies of all supporting documents that accompany your application. So this page again talks about the eligibility. If you have any questions, I would definitely reach out to your cooperators. I actually want to go back to the program overview tab, and I want to go to the community groups because I did not click on the cooperators to show you the list of the cooperators. So here, if you click on the purple cooperators, It provides the 8, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is it 9? The 9 cooperators that are available to help support producers through the application process. USDA is partnering with organizations with extensive experience conducting outreach to farm organizations. These organizations are well equipped to share information about the program and provide assistance with applications. They are not involved in the program's design, administration, or vendor selection. So the groups include Agribility, the Farmer Veteran Coalition, the Farmers Legal Action Group, Federation of Southern Cooperatives, Intertribal Agriculture Council, Land Loss Prevention. You have the National Young Farmers Coalition, and you have Rural Coalition, who also has a group up under each of them that they are working with that can help you to assist in the application process. Also on this page is where it talks about mailing addresses for application submissions. Submitting your application online is the fastest and easiest way to file. However, your completed application can be mailed to one of our application processing centers. The table below provides the mailing address you should use when submitting your application based on the state where your farm, ranch, or land is located. If you have questions on where to mail your application, contact the DFAP call center at 1-800-721-0970. But if you look here under each Commonwealth or state's territory, it shows you each state that particular regional hub, or I'm sorry, regional administrator is taken care of. So if you fall in between any of these, Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, Georgia, Maine, so forth and so on, you will email your application to the Windsor Group, and their information is located there. If you fall within Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Ohio, and all of these listed, you would send that also to DFAP Region 2, which is also the Windsor Group. Again, we talked about there being 2 different administrators. You had your national administrator and you had your regional administrators. And so Analytic Acquisitions as well as the Windsor Group are the 2 regional administrators as to where you're to send your application. So if you're in Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and all of these states, you would send your application to Analytic Acquisitions. If you're in Alaska, Arizona, California, and all of the states listed here, you would send your application to care of DFAP Region 4, which is also Analytic Acquisitions. So this is just, again, pertinent information that is on the Get Help with Your Application. It's also on your program overview. They have some of the same things that repeat on different tabs. So there's no way that you can miss any of this information because it is definitely on just about every tab. So we're going to go to how do I apply? Here you're going to apply online, mail a paper copy, talk about the in-person way to drop your application off, and it gives the timeline and program deadlines. Your application instructions, again, if you are completing it online, we are not going to complete the application online, but I just want to show you and walk you through it. And it tells you, again, that you're strongly encouraged to submit your application online for the simple fact that it can flag certain things on the application that you may miss if you complete the application on a hard copy. If you put the wrong social security number in, or if you don't put in enough digits, it will flag that. If you put your first name where your last name should be, it may flag certain things. So they really encourage you to submit your application online. However, that's not the only way that you can submit your application, but the local offices as well as the regional hubs are available in addition to the cooperators to assist you in knowing how to complete your application online, in person, and dropping it off so that you don't miss anything. But on this page, this is where you would get instant access to your application if you are completing it online. You get instant access to correspondence sent by the program staff. You're able to upload your supporting documents directly to the program website. You get instant information on the completedness of your application, and you only have to answer questions that are relevant to you. So when you're filling it out online, it will kind of guide you. If you answer this, then go to the next session. So it's a little bit easier to kind of navigate through it if you complete it online, but you don't have to just complete it online. This is the portion that speaks about mailing your paper copy. There are two methods to obtain a paper copy of the application. You can download the application here, and I'm going to click on that so that you can see what the application looks like. You may want to print the application out first, look over it, and then submit, your application online. But this is your 40-page application. I'm going to scroll and make that a little bit bigger so you can see that. So your last name is first. Usually, your first name is first. So those are things that it's going to flag. If you put your last name where your first name should be, that would be something that it may potentially flag. You have your birth date and your social security number. And again, we're not going to go through all pages of it, but it lists all the supporting documentation that you need for your application. It talks about your alternate contacts. So this is just a good way, I would think, just to look over it first before you complete it, so you know what you're looking at, so you know what you're needing to have prior to completing. But that is one way to download your paper copy. If you need the applicant in a language other than English or Spanish, you can call the Program Center or contact the Program Center at the email address here, info@22007apply.gov, or you can call them by phone. And the same with the National Call Center. It's the 1-800 number and the same email address there. It tells you how to, submit your application and the instructions. You're going to type or print your answers using blue or black ink. Your application must be readable by our representatives. So that is another thing, and why they want to encourage you to complete it online. You have to have your application be legible so that they can understand what they're reading. If they are unable to read your application, this may result in its denial or a request to provide an updated application. And so you are facing a deadline. So you just want to give yourself enough time to complete it correctly and thoroughly so that you don't have any issues. Use either of the following to make your selection when answering a question that has a box or a circle. So they want you to use a check or an X. So these are just again, submission instructions on how to complete your application, and you can go over all of these. It's about 9 steps. And then on this page, again, it tells you if you are in a certain state, who you would email your application to. And again, it's a repeat of what we have actually gone over. So submitting your application in person at a local office. You may drop off a completed application and supporting documentation at any of the program's dedicated local offices. Note, this program is being administered by non-governmental entities. Therefore, these offices are not FSA county or state offices. So again, this is being administered by non-governmental entities. So this is not USDA. This is non-governmental entities. But if you click on the local offices, it also takes you to where you can drop off your application in person. I'm going to, again, scroll down to Mississippi because that's the state that I am in. You can drop off your application at the Kings of Kings Christian Center, and that is in Vicksburg, Mississippi. There isn't any phone numbers listed. You can also drop it off at Sustaining Environments Through Education and Economic Development Incorporated, also known as SEED, which is a community partner in Okolona, Mississippi. So again, I would call the 1-800 number just to make sure that you have the correct information and that you are going through the necessary steps to make sure you're getting what you need to the local offices. But this is a great wealth of information so that you can drop it off at your local office. They have impersonal regional office locations as well here, and we're going to click on that so you can see which is the same thing. It sends you to whatever state you're in so that you can drop off your application there. So let's go over the timeline and program deadlines. You can submit your application through January 13th, 2024. If your application is late, it will not be reviewed and you will not receive financial assistance. There will be no extensions. If your application is incomplete, it will be evaluated on the basis of the information that is included. To be counted as timely, applications submitted by U.S. or overnight mail must be postmarked no later than January 13th, 2024. Applications submitted in person at a local office must be delivered by 8 p.m. local time on January 13th, 2024. Applications submitted online must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on January 13th, 2024. So you definitely want to make sure that you are in compliance with the deadlines and look over that information to make sure that you're submitting it prior to the closing of the application process. The information submitted through the application form is the only application requirement for this program. There will not be any hearings, appeals, or other processes to apply to this program. You are encouraged to apply in advance of the deadline to allow time to resolve any questions on the application. So please don't wait until the last moment, folks. Go ahead and get that application in. Let's talk about the application processing. Your application will be processed in the region that covers the farm or ranch listed in your application. That's going to be analytics, acquisition, or the Windsor Group, which we went over. The review process will begin after receiving applications and will continue for several months. You will be notified of the status of your applications once determinations are made. You may also check the status of your application at forms.22007APPY.GOV. Note, you will need your confirmation ID to retrieve your application status. So this is why it's important for you to complete your application online, because this will be a way that you can check the status of your application. Now, in terms of if you drop your application off at a local office or mail it in to the regional hub, that is a question that you will need to ask or call the National Call Center to make sure that you know how that process works if you're mailing in or dropping off your application. So we're going to go to payment disbursements. Payments for approved applications will be delivered early next calendar year by check through the U.S. mail. I don't know what that means, if they are meaning early calendar year 2025, if the application process ends in January 13th, 2024. So again, that may be a question that you need to ask your local office or the regional hub, or the regional administrator, so that you get a full understanding of when your payment is going to be mailed to you. So we're going to click on the tab here, Resources and Documents. On this tab, you have a downloadable application fact sheet, FAQs and instructions, application FAQs, application guides and help, creating an online account and logging in, filling out the online application, other help, supporting documentations and templates, and to beware scams. Now, a lot of this we have already gone over or we have looked at. Down Just click on English. This is actually some of the information that the Windsor Group has when you attend a meeting. So this is like a little overview that kind of tells you who's eligible for the program. It gives you all the information of the timeline and how to get assistance, which is stuff that we've just covered. It talks about the telephone number and where you can apply. So this is just a little fact sheet that will be provided if you attend a local event. I want to get to the application FAQs because there are a few questions that I want to go over. Who is eligible for this program? Am I eligible to participate in this program if I received money or loan forgiveness as part of another program addressing discrimination? Let's look on that. Yes. Okay. So if you received money or loan forgiveness as part of another program, you are eligible to participate in this program as well. It says there have been several prior cases and matters addressing discrimination in USDA farm loan programs. These include cases commonly known as Pickford 1 in where Black farmers had discrimination litigation. There was also BFDL or Pickford 2. Then there's Keep Sigel and Hispanic and women farmers and ranchers. So people who prevailed and obtained money or loan forgiveness in these cases or claim processes are eligible for this program as well. Okay, can I participate in both this program and FSA's program providing assistance? Okay, can I participate in both this program and in FSA's program providing assistance for distressed borrowers? Yes, if you are eligible for both, you can participate both in this program under IRA Section 22007 and in the program providing assistance for distressed borrowers under IRA Section 22006. Okay, there were a couple of more questions. We've already covered what types of lending is covered. How will it be decided whether discrimination occurred? Okay, you must provide specific evidence that you experienced discrimination by USDA in USDA farm lending before January 1, 2021. Some specified documents are required. You are also permitted to provide additional evidence to support your claim of discrimination. The evidentiary standard for this application is, quote, substantial evidence, end quote, which is less than preponderance of the evidence, end quote. To meet this standard, you should provide relevant evidence that a reasonable person could accept as adequate to support the conclusion that discrimination occurred. Accordingly, your application will be stronger if you provide documentation and a full description of your experience. So that is why they're saying the application process or the application itself is so long, because they want you to list very detailed examples of the discrimination that occurred. I want to also go over this question here. How much financial assistance is available? Congress provided a total of $2.2 billion for this program. The amount of money awarded to individuals through this program, therefore, depends on the number of eligible applicants and the consequences of the discrimination. The statute caps any single award at $500,000. However, it is important to understand that nearly all awards of financial assistance will be less than this amount. The average potential size of award under this program will depend on the number of applicants. For example, if there are 50,000 eligible applicants, the average total award amount per applicant would be approximately $40,000. If there are 85,000 eligible applicants, the average total award amount would be approximately $25,000. Financial assistance will be based on the nature and consequences of the discrimination experience, so individual amounts of financial assistance will vary. Additionally, Individuals who have never farmed due to discrimination by USDA can generally be expected to have experienced less severe consequences from discrimination than those who have farmed. This is because those who never farmed generally did not invest as much into a farming operation. For this reason, under this program, applicants who never farmed will receive substantially less financial assistance than those who did. And the last question that I want to go over, because I want you all to just go over all of these and see what is applicable to you, or just to read so you will know. Will I have to pay taxes on any financial assistance? Any financial assistance received in this program will very likely be considered income for tax purposes. Individuals receiving financial assistance will receive an IRS 1099 form showing the amount of assistance they have received. USDA is unable to determine if you will owe taxes because every individual's circumstances are different, and USDA recommends that you speak with a tax professional. USDA has partnered with Southern Extension Risk Management Education Center, the National Farm Income Tax Commission Committee, and other tax experts across the country to provide general information and resources regarding USDA programs, payments, and agricultural taxes. These resources are available online at farmers.gov/taxes, as well as ruraltax.org and agftap.org. In addition, tax information related to this particular program is available at 22007APPY.GOV. So just read over some of these questions, FAQs, so that you can, have your questions answered. Here you can go to your application guide and help. This tells you how to create an online account. So this first video here actually shows you how to set up your account. And then if you scroll down, this shows you how to navigate through the online application, as well as to check on the status of your application. So these are very, very two important videos: finding the status of your application, the second video, and setting up your online account on the first video. So make sure that you read over those. And then there's other help sources here. We're going to click on the English version here. This just shows you how to convert your application to a PDF, so that if you are completing it in a paper copy and you need to upload something electronically, it gives you all the resources and guides on how to create a PDF, as well as how to create your e-signature. This section of the website shows you how to, is supporting documentation templates. You may wish to review the documentation checklist before you begin your submission, as you gather documents helpful to process your application. So this kind of tells you what you need to get started. So before you actually go through the process, you may kind of want to read over all of this so that you know what you have to have before you start completing the application. And again, the local offices or your cooperators will be able to walk you through all of the information that is needed prior to you completing your application. So just look at the supporting documentation template to see what is needed. There's a W-9 form, your W-8BEN form, as well as your W-8 ECI tax form. So this is just important information that may be needed as you complete your application. This section here, beware of scams. Be wary of any communication through mail, email, or phone that solicits information from you or requests compensation. The program staff and cooperators may provide you with the information on the program, but will never request compensation from you. The program staff may request additional information from you, but only after you have filed an application seeking assistance. Again, filing an application is free. There are no fees associated with the application process or this program in any form. No lawyer is required to apply. But if you feel the need for legal assistance, seek the assistance of a trusted licensed attorney. The program staff can provide free help to assist in completion of your application. Please contact the program call center by email at info@22007apply.gov or phone at 1-800-721-0970 for more information. If you have information related to a potential scam, please contact the USDA Office of the Inspector General through their hotline complaint website. You would go to usdaoig.oversight.gov/resources/hotline information, and it will list what you need to do and the steps you need to take in order to report a potential scam. Okay. And then you have here at the bottom, I haven't gone over this, but Facebook, again, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn is where you can find more information about the DFAP. We've already gone over the news and information tab, where you have your press release and your outreach toolkit, as well as subscribing to your DFAP weekly letter. And then your last tab here is get help with your application, which is probably just a review of everything that we've already gone over. The email address and the phone numbers that you need is all throughout here. So let's say you want to make an appointment. If you would like to schedule time at a DFAP local office, you can call that 1-800-721-0970 number. After selecting your preferred language, press option 3. This will connect you with a team member who will help you with setting an appointment in person at a local office, on the phone, or virtually. You can schedule an appointment to get help with your application, get help scanning your supporting documentation, or get whatever other help that you need. Then there's the phone numbers. You can get help by online video call. In English, they offer 2 online group sessions every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. There's a program overview session from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then they go over the 10-step application process with you from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To access these meetings in English, you can click on the session there. They have Spanish sessions where they offer the classes Tuesday and Thursday. So the information is all here to help you all. This is a very, very resourceful page, getting help with your application. And we're going to scroll down a little bit more here. And then it tells you about your local offices, which we have gone over. Again, team members can assist you with the following: completing and filing your application through e-file or paper copy, checking the status of your application, assisting you with scanning images of your documentation, providing interpretation and translation services, and access to computers for filling out and filing your application. And then it lists the states or your local offices in each state where you can drop off your application. So I would encourage you to just go over this website, just read over everything again, starting with the program overview, going all the way to the end of the tab with get help with your application. Again, reach out to your cooperators in the local offices to answer any questions that you may have. If you need additional information, again, call 1-800-721-0970 or email them at info@22007apply.gov. Give them a call at 1-800-721-0970. We thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Policy Center Live. We'll see you next time. Scan the QR code to follow the Policy Center on all our social media platforms, Facebook, IG, and Twitter. And be sure to subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel at the Policy Center Live to watch this episode's, previous episodes, and future episodes to come. We'll see you next time on the Policy Center Live.